like a fucking human yo-yo. Well, it's another fucking feedback show. See, you guys are always commenting. I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of comments. I get a lot of try this, read that, have you heard of this? And so I felt the need to start up a segment where I address these things. So I'll either be, if you haven't watched the other one, I'll be addressing your comments, private messages through YouTube, which are out there as well, and fucking articles of all sorts. Testing out a green screen again. My first green screen was kind of a fail. So this one I've set up a little differently. I've got some new bells and whistles going for this particular episode. So let me know what you think in the comments of the green screen ability. I used to be a truck driver, but now I'm a fucking photographer. So instead of driving trucks, I'm taking fucking pictures. It's that simple. You'll be seeing some of my photography float around in the background, or various other things that may be pertinent to the video when I'm not too lazy to fucking edit. The first comment comes from Viper GRM. Hi Scott, been doing ADF for a few weeks now, and so far I've not lost any weight. I usually do 5 p.m. to 5 p.m. every other day. So from what I'm gathering from that, you start your fast at 5 p.m. and end at 5 p.m. the next day, which is essentially a 24-hour fast. And if you're only doing it every other day, you're kind of not, you could do a 20 to 23-hour fast. Obviously 23 is the max you can do every day. And if your calories, if after that fast you're eating a shitload of calories, more than your daily maintenance, you're not going to lose any weight. It's really that simple. Because, once again, calories in versus calories out. If you do not burn enough calories from what you're eating, you can't lose weight. So fasting by itself, while longer fasts can be used to increase your deficit over a week, because obviously if you don't eat for 24 hours, you straight up, eliminate one day, 2,300 calories or 22, or I think I'm 2,100 now that I'm a little thinner, from your diet. So that creates a deficit for the week. However, if you run the next day and eat double that, you've canceled it out. And it's really not that hard to hit 4,000 calories and if you are eating shitty foods. I mean, really, if you're eating cakes, cheesecake, really dense caloric foods like prime rib, and there are just so many ways to fuck up. And I've done them all because I don't eat clean. So I've been having to do a hell of a lot longer fasts than some of you will have to do because I don't eat clean. One solution, you can clean up your act and try and eat clean, and that'll just help you along with not building too many calories into your diet. If you're going to do true ADF, as in no shit ADF, that's every other day you go to bed without eating. That's a 36 followed by a normal eating day, followed by a 36. This is an aggressive fucking fasting pattern. It's not an easy fasting pattern. It's probably one of the just shy of starting to do 72s or even 48s is the 36. And, I'm not saying it's not achievable, but prepare yourself that you might not be ready and you might, fail the first couple times that you try this. But, if you do a more aggressive fast successfully, it makes all the other protocols underneath it a lot easier. So, you're already doing 24s, no problem. Try and do 136 and see how you do. If you can handle the 36, then have a day of eating, and don't go buck wild on your eat day. Now, granted, you could technically eat double your maintenance calories on that fucking day. But you are trying to lose weight, are you not? So in this case, I would maybe not go over 3,000, which is a nice, healthy amount of calories for a day of eating. But I shit you not, I've done 4,000 or 5,000 calories on some of these days and seen no results because of that. So, like I said, if you are a hardcore eater and you want to lose weight and you're doing ADF, you have to keep your calories under 3,000 on the days you eat. I know it sucks, but 3,000 is pretty easy by most standards. Talk to the low-calorie motherfuckers that have to eat fucking 1,700 calories a day, and they squeeze that shit into fucking meals throughout the day. Ask them how easy that is. You know, so 3,000 calories is a feast compared to that. And it's very sustainable. You know, being able to eat without worrying as much. You gotta worry a little bit. But that is definitely one of the perks of ADF, if you can get through 36-hour fasts. Now, 36-hour fasts, if you are eating bad foods, are going to be rough. You're going to have hunger issues. But I'll address that in a minute because I did test something out. Let me just finish your message here. Clearly, I'm doing something wrong. Any advice for an ADF noob? Thanks a fucking bunch. And that's pretty much, I just answered your question. So I would start your protocol, do a 36-hour fast, do a day of eating, you know, but don't be hardcore about it. Try and space your calories still so that you're cramming them into a smaller eating window. If you get up on your eating day and start fucking eating right away, you're kind of setting yourself up to have too many calories that day. So don't, push that 36 as far as you can go. Push it to 40. You know, every day you should try and push your eating window out to compress it, therefore reducing the chances that you're going to overeat on your fucking eating window. So definitely keep an eye on your calories. If you're not losing weight, there's a whole bunch of other things it could be too. One of the issues that you're going to run into, especially if you're doing aggressive fasting, is water weight. You are going to gain shit tons of water weight because you are going to retain water. And then you're going to lose shit tons of water weight because on a 36-hour fast, toward the tail end of it, your body starts dumping salt. And in so doing, you're also releasing glycogen from your glycogen stores, which has part water in it. You're releasing fat from your fat cells, which has part water in it. So you are losing shit tons of water weight in a short period of time. And then when you carb up the next day, guess what? You're putting all that salt if you're eating processed foods. Now, if you're eating clean, this is a different story. I've tested it. You don't gain as much water weight if you eat clean. But if you eat shit, like I do, you gain shit tons of water weight. There's no way around it. You know, aside from sitting in a fucking steam room while you're eating a fucking pizza, I'm pretty sure you're fucked with the water weight unless you're eating clean. That's my advice, I would say, if you want to do true ADF. You don't have to do true ADF, though. It's not as quick, but you can get similar results with the alternate day style diet. And what that says is sometime during your fasting day, doesn't matter when, you can do it breakfast, lunch, dinner, right before bed, when you get up to take a piss, whenever, you can have 600 calories. Supposedly 500 if you're a woman, but it's a 100 calorie difference in the end. Who gives a shit? We're not in a hurry here. Remember that. You're not in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. Because you set yourself up for failure if you're in a hurry. Take your time. Gradual. If you find the 36 is too hard to do, I would recommend alternate day dieting approach where you do the 600 calories. You got to count your calories for that. No getting around that. I pretty much know what the calorie content of the shit I've eaten because I don't have a huge variety of foods I eat. And having spent months upon months counting calories before, I can pretty much ballpark my calorie intake for the day. And I fuck up a lot. And I know I'm fucking up. I'm like, oh, there goes another 1,000 calories. Fuck. Keep that in mind. If you're having trouble, you're not losing weight on your fast, For the rest of you that aren't doing ADF and you're trying to, you run into these plateaus, especially when you're getting toward the bottom end. The top end's easy. When you start doing this, you're gonna lose your first 10 pounds like that. It's gonna fucking fall right the fuck off you. But as your body fat level drops, I'm at about 20% body fat, which is still overweight. I was damn near 29%, 28% when I started, somewhere in that ballpark. So, and this isn't hardcore measuring. That's that stupid fucking thing that shoots the fucking electricity through your balls and then tells you how much resistance your balls are providing, and that somehow determines your body fat. So it's completely not accurate. I'm not sitting here with calipers and all of that. I know I look thinner in the face, arms, and legs. The belly area, not so much. That's the last to go. So, and, I've gotten it down a lot, but it's not gone. And the only way to get it gone is to get down to 8 or 9% body fat, which for me would probably be around 170 pounds. And I already know that when I get down to 189, which is the lowest I've been, I'm really starting to notice the loose skin at that point. So that answers that question. I hope that helps you out, Viper GM and anybody GRM, that anybody else that's having trouble not losing weight. It's not rocket science, it's calories. And intermittent fasting, in my opinion, gives you satisfying meals. When you're eating, you're fucking eating, all right? You're eating fucking cheeseburgers, you're eating whatever the fuck makes you fucking happy. And then you're not eating for a long period of time to provide you with the deficit. Now, there are many other health benefits, obviously. I've gone over them repeatedly. You reduce your oxidative stress, you reduce inflammation, you control your blood sugar, you manage your insulin sensitivity, you lower your risk for diabetes, you lower your cholesterol levels, your blood pressure completely fucking normalizes. There are many health benefits, even if you're not trying to lose weight, to doing the intermittent fasting. Not a goal for me right now because I'm fine. If I start to notice fucked up shit, I'll be fasting not just for fat loss or to maintain my weight, but I'll also be doing it for the benefits, because our bodies are made to repair themselves. And if we're eating all the time, you're not giving your fucking body a chance to do what it does pretty much best when you're not fucking cramming food in your face. So it gives your body time to catch up. Now, some people disagree with me on this, and I find the people that argue with me on these points generally already don't like fasting for one reason or another. They think that you don't get all of your nutrition, your vitamins and minerals, and think you're going to have all these deficiencies. Even though fasting has been part of society since fucking man had to go out and find something to fucking eat. And back then there was no McDonald's to fucking go to. You couldn't go to Wegmans and load up. You couldn't fill your fucking fridge with fucking 10 weeks worth of food like you do now. So we're made to do this, alright? We are made to store our own food. We don't even need a refrigerator. We don't. Did you know that? You don't need a fucking refrigerator. Go to the store, buy you a single serving of whatever the fuck is you like that's cold, or buy like 10 servings, cram that shit in your fucking fat ass, and then live off of it for a little while. And then when you feel you've lost enough fat, go back. Do it again. You could get by without putting shit in your fridge. Now, we're all lazy fucks. We're going to put shit in our fridge. We don't want to have to do that. We don't want to have to leave the house when it's time to eat, do we? No, we're going to go to the goddamn fridge. So I know I'm being unrealistic, but I'm here to tell you, we're not designed to have that. Over time, we've become more of an obese society, and we're fucking geared up to have that, but right now, we're still genetically wired to not have food all the time. Yet we have it all the fucking time. So, I'm a huge, passionate supporter of intermittent fasting. So, and lately I've seemed to be catching a little flack from people who know me personally. And that's disturbing to me because I have such a strong faith in this and a strong experience with this that fuck them. I mean, really. If you don't like what I'm doing and you don't believe in it, shut the fuck up and leave me alone. It's really that simple. You do what you gotta do. If you want advice from me, I'm gonna give you the advice that I believe in. And even if you don't like that advice, then don't take it. But I'm getting off on a fucking tangent with a little bit of a personal issue going on there. Carrie Conrad writes, "It's just good to see someone get out of the trucking biz. I can't stand it anymore. 16 years driving tankers in New Jersey and New York area." If you did most of your 16 years just doing those two, I could see how you'd be wore out. I was wore out and I've been everywhere, But mainly I was running Canada when I finally fucking dropped out. So, trucking is like a double-edged sword. One side, you have food on the table, a roof over your head, support for the family. Other side, no life, too many hours. Good to see someone escape this mess. Oh well, enough of this whining. Good videos, too much cursing, just saying. Well, I say fuck. It's how I express myself. I don't know if it's a disorder of some kind or if they put a fucking label on it. Perhaps there's a meme somewhere on Facebook that fucking explains why I have to say fuck all the time. I don't know. But I'm not going to stop. I curse, I'm sorry, we're all grown-ups here. Have you not heard the word fuck lately? I'm just saying. Getting out of trucking has been a struggle throughout my 11 years of trucking. I didn't do 16 like you, so you got to really be fucking burnt out. But throughout my 11 years of trucking, and if you watch some of the earlier videos on this channel, where it started out as a trucking vlog, you'll see how miserable it makes you. And at the end of the day, most people, when they go to work and they have a shitty day, they leave it at work. It's over there. You're over here. You're home where you're comfortable. The TV's ready. The computer's ready. You can go in the bathroom and take a nice 4-hour shit. You can sit in the bathtub. When you're out there in that little fucking box, you miss all of that. Really hits home. You're like, why am I out here? What am I earning all this money for? Because at the end of the day, you have this shitty long 16-hour day. I don't care what you say, 16 hours. Law says 14. But let's be honest here, you're really working 16 hours a day. And then you're in the truck still at the end of the day. Nobody, no girlfriend, can't get your dick sucked. Can't go out to the kitchen, make you a sandwich. Got to go in the truck stop and eat some nasty shit. So anybody that can do the job and stick with it for more time than I did, I have respect for. Because I had to get out. And there's no guarantee that I'm all the way out. If my business fails of photography, or in this case, YouTube is supplementing me a little bit too. Not, it's like beer money, but I like beer money. It's nice to be able to go get beer. Even though I don't drink beer anymore, I drink hard liquor. But still, you kind of take all of that for granted because you see the big numbers. And the fact of the matter is, while you're out there on the road, the motherfucking, the big paychecks you're getting, fucking... almost half of it is going back into the shit that you're on the road. Because food costs a fortune out there. I can buy a week's worth of groceries with $45. $45 on the road wouldn't even get me through 2 days. The money you make gets chewed up. And then the money you have left over, if you have maintaining any kind of household, you gotta pay all the fucking bills at home. unless you got help. But a lot of truckers can't maintain relationships because they're in the fucking truck. So it's a struggle. So for every time I see motherfuckers hating on truckers, and there are a lot of stupid motherfuckers out there that are driving trucks and killing people and killing themselves and causing a general, and I agree with that perspective, but to label all truckers in this one fucking narrow view is asinine, because our entire lives, the fact that you have a refrigerator and a Wegmans and a goddamn McDonald's and a Jack in the Box or a Five Guys or a Fuddruckers or all of these things would not be possible without trucking. Do you think they're going to roll the train through town? No. Trucking. Those assholes that you're honking your horn at, giving the finger, flipping off, and bitching about that are too slow because, an 80,000 pound vehicle should be able to go 75 all the fucking time. No problem there, right? Even though all you motherfuckers are trying to do 75 and you get so pissed off when you can't. You get behind a truck that can only do 60 and you're just fucking going nuts and you're giving us fingers, you're flashing your fucking high beams. Fuck you and your high beams. So just keep that in mind. The next time you're an asshole to a truck driver, go home and empty your fridge and don't go to any stores. Don't order shit online. Only go buy shit at places that make shit locally. And then you'll have a glimpse of life. And by make shit locally, meaning those places make shit with the raw materials that they get locally. You can't even find a place like that. All the factories in your local town that produce shit you think you're buying local, get their fucking raw materials trucked in. So I'm done with that tangent. That's the thing with this show. I'm going to go off on these tangents. It's going to be a long show. I don't expect everybody to watch it all the way through, but what the hell, I just want to, it's me talking. It's like a podcast almost. So thanks, Carrie Conrad. I do believe you're one of my earliest subscribers to this channel. I think I remember you from a while back when I first started out. It's been over a year now, so on this channel anyway. Old channel's gone, don't even ask. Carlos Castillo. This guy knows what he's talking about. I like the way he puts everything very clear and is true. You always going to be 2 to 5 pounds difference on the scale, because some days you drink a lot of water, some days you only drink a little bit of water plus food and waste and shit. Sorry, he didn't write that. I added that for flair. On the days you track your calories, do you try to maintain a certain carb intake or just hit your calories, take your calories of 1800, or you don't worry about the other macros? I definitely do not worry about macros. I'm not trying to balance protein. I'm not trying to balance carbs. I do know that the more carb heavy I eat, the more water I'm going to retain, and the more generally bloated and low energy I'm going to feel. Believe it or not, considering the body runs on glucose, I don't understand how that fucking works, but when you fucking eat lots of carbs, you're ready to take a fucking nap. So on the days when I eat, I do not care about macros or anything. Roughly, I get a rough guesstimate of my calorie intake, and I stop eating when I'm around 3,000 when I'm doing ADF. If I'm doing a 20-hour fast, I try and keep in the 1800 range if I eat. If I'm trying to do 16 and 8, depending, usually if I'm doing 16 and 8s or 20s, it's kind of like a break for me. That's how easy those are now. It's like I'm taking a fucking break from fasting. So when you do those lower fasts, the less fasting you do, the more on the ball with your counting calories you gotta be. If you're doing 36s, you can be a little loose with your numbers. Because technically speaking, take that 1,700 calories, multiply it by 2, and that's your budget. If you hit that number, that's a lot of math. That's what, 3,200 something, 3,000, I don't know. But you still are in your 500 deficit per day. And that's all you need to lose weight. You need 3,000 calories to lose 3,500 calories to lose a pound of fat. How you get there, there's just so many fucking ways. You can go run on the treadmill, eat all you fucking want, eat a huge 5,000 calorie eat day, and then spend 2 hours in the gym and you're fine. You know? So if you eat a lot, exercise more. If you find that you can't keep it down to 3,000 calories, take your ass to the gym and do some cardio. I prefer not to do cardio, so I keep it at 3,000 when I do 36-hour fasts. If I'm doing alternate day diet, subtract that 600 calories that you eat on your eat day from the 3,000, and that should be the number you're going for. So there's all kinds of different protocols. I've done them all, except for 30-day and 7-day. So which brings me, if you hung with me this long, I just want to quickly give you an update. Last weekend I had some social events to attend in which I overate. Definitely. Didn't give a fuck, didn't count, didn't worry about nothing, didn't even fast hardly. And, I think I did 12, 13 hours. I wasn't worried about, I'm like, I'll get back on the horse on Monday. And I did. Sunday night, I was 210 pounds. Now, keeping in mind, that's fully water weighted up, fully fed, hadn't even taken a shit. So, that's where I started. I started Sunday evening a 72-hour fast. I made it 71 hours because, who gives a fuck about 72 more calories. So, basically, I started a 3-day modified fast. Now, it's not a true 72-hour fast. A true 72-hour fast, water, black coffee. That's it. Or tea. I will get into that in a minute. So, I started that. Only my modified version, which was an experiment. I'm like, well, I'm not doing a true 72-hour fast because I'm having problems with cravings. So how do I beat the cravings? Generally, cravings are for sugar of some kind. Some people do it healthy and they eat an apple. Or something like that. Not me, because fuck that. I decided creamer in my coffee. That's right. My first 2 to 3 cups of coffee contain roughly 100 calories. So it's about 200 to 300 calories each day of the 72-hour fast. Quote unquote. Because it's not a real fast. There's fasting going on intermittently, but a true fast, keep in mind, you don't spike your blood sugar at all, and you still got all the hormonal benefits. But I wasn't approaching this from a 72-hour cleansing fast point of view. I was approaching it more from controlling my deficit to the point of extreme weight loss. So, in so doing that, I found that while black coffee does suppress your appetite for a small amount of time, it does nothing for if you have carb craving issues. And the only way to get rid of carb craving issues is to go cold turkey and not have carbs for a really, really fucking long time, which I'm unwilling to do. I'm weak-willed. I like carbs. I like sugar. I like that shit. So, what I did, 2 to 3 cups of coffee in the, before noon, up to 300 calories max. Later in the day, I have some sugar-free Nestle Light hot cocoa, which is roughly 25 calories. I allow myself 1 cup of that later in the day. Any gaps are filled in with unsweetened tea. If I do sweeten the tea, I find that stevia, which is a 0-calorie sweetener that's naturally produced in somewhere, supposedly. And I sweeten it a little bit, maybe a half a teaspoon of stevia in my tea if I need that sugary flavor. And I was able to go with no issues whatsoever 72 hours. I know I was in ketosis on the 3rd day because I had that sinusy pressure feeling that you get when you first switch over that probably doesn't go away for quite some time because it takes 21 days to keto adapt. So you do feel and I was a little, lightheaded a little bit. So I knew I was in ketosis. I was burning ketones. All my glycogen was depleted. I'd accomplished my mission. Bottom line, I weighed in at 202.9 this morning, despite having eaten last night over 2,000 calories. When I broke my fast, I had 2 huge plates of goulash, probably about 2 to 3 frosted covered Entenmann's donuts, and some tea, which was probably the healthiest fucking thing I did in that mess. A couple of slices of toast, some chocolate covered fucking peanuts. I was fucking gluttonous. And I'm like, well, here comes all that water weight coming back. Here we go, I'm ready. And in the guise of carb backloading, because when you've depleted all your glycogen, you have 2,000 calories that your body wants to store in your liver and muscles that it gets from carbs. Not fat. Can't put the fat in there. Fat goes in fat. Protein. You want to put the protein in there, guess what? You got to convert it to glucose. So, all of that carby shit I ate was being put into my glycogen stores. It made me thirsty, a little cotton-mouthy. But I didn't, I drank a moderate amount of water. If you overload on water, you're going to gain water weight very quickly and become bloated. So, that is the story of that. Today, I had leftover goulash, some mozzarella sticks, a couple more of them fucking donuts I love, and I'm starting another 36 because I'm trying to cut down to 193. So that's about 2,400 calories, maybe 2,500. I also had creamer in my coffee and shit. But it was an early morning, I stopped eating at 2 p.m. And I don't plan on eating until sometime on Saturday. So this is going to be a 36 to 42 to 5, maybe even 48 hour fast that I'm going to do to keep the train. Because, yeah, I used the 72 hours to go fuck you to the fat. But that doesn't mean I can jerk off now. I have to get with some ADF, and that's what I'm doing now. So, just to keep you the update, thank you for watching this entire long-ass fucking obscenely long fucking video, and thank you for enjoying me saying the word fuck repeatedly, and thank you for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate all of you, because as we continue to grow, I'm starting to see that 1,000 subscriber mark on the fucking horizon, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do then? They're gonna be expecting videos every fucking day when I get there. So yeah, I'm sorry I haven't been pumping out as many videos. Like I said, I've had a lot of other things going on this past week. I'm still trying to make this a priority. As you can see from all the production value I'm putting into this shit, filming on this fucking awesome ass camera and all of that. Let's see how this fucking goes. But remember, like always, I know you guys think I might be an expert because I'm answering questions and shit, but I'm not an expert. I'm just a fucking asshole. Have a nice fucking day.